Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our equity loan webinar this afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. Firstly, my name is Dan Maskell. I'm the lead resales executive here at Abry. I've been working here for about 7 years within our overall post-sales team and alongside my two colleagues that will be joining me this afternoon on the webinar. I'll shortly introduce you to Paula and Lauren, who will be answering your questions today. However, I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about how the webinar will work. We're going to be here for about half an hour today, 30 minutes. And most of the session will be a question and answer with our equity loan experts answering your questions. I'll be directing the questions coming in. So please type as many as you can, any questions you do have, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can within the 30-minute slot. A recording of this session will be made available following the webinar. So if you want to revisit any questions, any answers given, or forward this on to any friends, family, colleagues who may hold an equity loan with Abry. So firstly, just a bit of a brief overview of an equity loan. It's a loan that was given to you by the Swaveling Housing Society when you purchase your property. This is a loan which is secured as a charge on the title of your property, along with your mortgage if one is applicable. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm now going to pass over to my colleagues, starting with Paula, and then moving on to Lauren afterwards to introduce themselves. And they will tell you a little bit more about how they're involved in the equity loan transaction. So firstly, over to you, Paula.
Hello, I'm Paula Blackman-Scott. I'm the lead post-sales executive, and it will be myself and my team that will be available for you to answer any questions you have when it comes to repaying your equity loan or any other sort of queries you may have. I've been with Abry for 16 years and within the post-sales team for the last 6 years. So we also have a dedicated customer service team. So although Abry have a wider stock business, there is a dedicated customer service team for homeowners like yourselves, and their number is 0800 145 6663. So if you've got any specific questions, you can come straight through to that dedicated line, and then you'll be put through to one of the post-sales executives for you. So I'll just pass you over to Lauren to introduce herself.
Thanks, Paula. Hi, I'm Lauren Sharp. I'm one of the post-sales executives within the post-sales team. I've been with Abry and in the post-sales team for 12 years. I'm one of the team that will help you from start to finish with your transaction, and I'll also help with any other queries that you have relating to your equity loan. I'll pop you back to Dan and we can get started.
Thank you both. Good to see you this afternoon. And we've got some questions coming in already, so I think we'll just jump straight into the Q&As. What I'll try and do, I'll try and bulk any similar questions together, those kind of things. If there are individual questions, I'll send them to you separately, guys, just so we avoid bouncing around too much, but I'll try and direct it evenly to you both. So firstly, let's have a look at one of the questions that's come in. I'm going to direct this one to Paula first. Paula, will I need a solicitor to redeem my loan?
Really good question. Yes, a solicitor will be needed because at the point where the loan has been redeemed, there is a legal document that Abry will execute, which is called a DS1, and this is for the charge to be removed from your freehold titles. So without that, the charge will sit on the land registry title. So once the equity loan has been redeemed, that will go back to your solicitor, and your solicitor will then in turn register that with the land registry, and that will remove your charge. Just quickly on timescales for that will be down to the land registry of how long it takes to process. So keep in contact with your solicitor at that stage, and they can then confirm at the point that it's been fully removed, and you usually get a confirmation letter to let you know the charge has been removed and 100% of the property has then been transferred into your name.
Perfect. Thank you, Paula. Some really good questions coming in, so I'm going to just fire through these ones. Lauren, I'm going to send one to yourself. I'm splitting from my partner. What does this mean about my loan?
So the loan will remain registered on the property until it has been repaid. So if the property ownership is being transferred from joint to sole names, the loan will become the responsibility of that sole owner, and they will remain responsible for that loan until it is repaid.
That's great. Thank you, Lauren. Hopefully that helps. Paula, going to come to you next. Can I rent out my home so I can buy another one? Could you just go through that with us in regards to the equity loan and how that's involved?
Whilst the equity loan is in place, there are certain terms of the equity loan, and one of them is that the property is your main and sole residence. So whilst the equity loan is still in place on the property, you wouldn't be able to rent out that property to either live in or rent out or purchase another property. Once you redeem that the loan, those kind of clauses will fall away. So the property is for you to do whatever you wish with, but all the time the equity loan is in place on that property, it does need to be your main and sole residence.
Awesome, thank you. Going to go straight back to yourself, Lauren, if that's okay. How can I get a copy of my equity loan deed? Could you just run through that? Because hopefully that's a nice, easy process.
Yes, so this is a nice, easy one. You should have received a copy of your equity loan deed from your solicitor when you purchased the property. If you can no longer find a copy of this, you could go back to your solicitor you used at the time to see if they still hold a copy within their files, or you can approach the land registry and try and obtain a copy from them. Alternatively, you can just contact us and we can see if we can supply a copy of this to you.
Amazing, thank you, Lauren. Paula, I've got a couple of questions which I'm going to try and pop your way. Firstly, how much do I pay back when I redeem my loan, and how do you calculate that? And just slightly off of that, can I pay it back in chunks at all?
Really good question. So in regards to how much that you pay back, it will be based on your equity loan deed. So as Lauren previously said, if you have a look, it will tell you how much you initially borrowed, and it will be the percentage that we'll be looking at. So for example, if you borrowed a 25% equity loan at the point of purchase, it will be 20% of the current market value at this time that you would redeem. So it is based on current market value in most cases. Some loans differ slightly. So like I say, we recommend taking a look at your equity loan deed and gain advice from a legal representative just in case you're unsure. But whatever percentage loan you borrowed based on current market value now, that's how we would then calculate the redemption figures for you. Was that all the questions, Dan? Sorry if I missed any of that.
That's okay. I'll come back to you, Paul. I'll come straight back because there was a little one, a little side question off that. So, can I pay back my loan in chunks, hoping to pay it off soon? And what would happen if somebody did manage to fully pay it off?
Yes, there is a certain equity loan type that is able to be redeemed in stages. That's the My Choice Home Buy loan. So again, refer back to your equity loan deed just to see if that's the loan type that you hold. If you don't hold that loan type, then it is just redeemed in full at the time that you're looking to either sell, or if you're just looking to redeem it via a remortgage, for example, or savings. But if you've got the My Choice Home Buy, it can be redeemed in stages. As long as there's a minimum of 10% remaining, then you can do it in chunks as and when it is suitable for you. And as I advised previously, as soon as you pay back all of the equity loan, we'll complete the DS1 for your solicitors, and that will then remove the charge from the property. So like I say, after that, full freehold title will be in your name. There would be no charge linked to the Swaledale Housing Society, as it should be on the equity loan deed, which is ABRI. Then that will just be removed at the time that you pay back the loan in full.
That's great, and you've been perfect there, because I've had a few questions that have come through asking about what happens when after finishing off paying back the loan. So I think you've kind of answered that really well there. So so thank you for that, Paula. Lauren, I'm going to come to yourself next. I pay monthly for my loan. Is this reducing the amount that I will repay? Hopefully you can help us with this one.
Yes, so this relates to our My Choice Home Buy loans, again, as the equity loan holders who have that particular loan type will be paying a monthly interest amount on their equity loan. That is an interest only amount. It doesn't reduce the amount of your equity loan. So the amount will still be linked to the percentage that Paula mentioned that will be within your equity loan deed at the time that you wish to repay it.
That's great. Thank you, Lauren. And thank you to everyone in attendance who's putting the questions through. We're getting some really, really good questions. So hopefully you're getting some good answers from this side. Paula, going to come back to yourself next. Just briefly, who can I talk to about my financial situation?
We always recommend seeking independent financial advice from either a mortgage broker, a financial advisor. So ABRI unfortunately can't assist with financial advice, but we do have a panel. So if you do want to contact us and you're not sure who to go to, we do have a number of financial advisors that are familiar with the scheme, so we can kind of point you in the right direction. But like I say, most mortgage brokers, financial advisors should be able to kind of give you some guidance on that. So it's definitely looking at having a chat to somebody. Alternatively, the Citizens Advice Bureau, they should be able to kind of assist as well. But it's definitely worth reaching out just for some guidance if you're unsure.
Thank you, Paula. Lauren, I'm going to come back to you next, if that's okay. I've got a question here about can we run through the process fully, particularly understanding RICS surveyors and how they're involved. So if it's not already been covered already, could you just give a brief overview of the transaction, how it does look from our side and the customer side, including the RICS surveyor part?
Absolutely. So I'll try and take it through as clearly as possible. But if you have any questions following this, then do feel free to contact us by the customer service team and we can send out the relevant guides and things to you to have a look through at your own leisure. So at the time you want to repay your loan, whether you're staying in the property or moving, there's slightly different documents that we would need from you. So if you're selling the property, we would need a copy of your memorandum of sale. So you would place the property on the open market with an estate agent. When you get a buyer, forward us a copy of your memorandum of sale. We will ask you to complete some ID checks through a company called Third Fort. So it's all done online, nice, quick and easy. Once we've got that through, we will just review everything. We'll check some comparables with the sales price, and then we'll let you know how much it'll be to repay your equity loan. We'll let you know this, and then we will also send a redemption statement out to your solicitor so that they are aware of how much funds needs to be transferred to ABRI on completion. We'll then process the DS1 that Paula mentioned before. If you're staying in the property and redeeming the loan, you will need to have a valuation completed by a RICS qualified surveyor. So that's a Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyor who will need to come out and value your property. If you have had home improvements completed on the property that have been approved by Swathling/ABRI, then these can be taken into account on your valuation, and we can let you know the process of doing that before you go and speak to a surveyor. So they will then send the copy of the report to yourself, and then if you send your valuation report through to ABRI, we will process it in a similar way that we will ask you to complete some ID checks, and we will then confirm the amount to you that you will need to send to repay your equity loan. And then the process follows a similar route from there in terms of sending the redemption statement to your solicitor, them sending the funds to ABRI and us processing that DS1 for you. I hope that's answered that okay, but let me know if you need anything else.
Thank you, Lauren. That was a really, really thorough explanation. And like you said, if you do want to kind of talk to us, go through that process kind of one-to-one, always just give us a call in the post-sales team. We'll be more than happy to kind of walk through that process of how it would look from start to finish. Going to jump straight back into the questions. Paula, I'm going to come back to you next. As a homeowner, if I was to pass on, what would happen to the loan in that unfortunate circumstance?
It's a really good question, a lot that some people do think about. It's similar to what would happen on the open market. So if the property has been written into your will, so you can decide who you would like to leave it to, then the solicitors will obviously deal with the legal side of your estate, and ABRI will deal with the allocation and transfer of the property into the beneficiary's name. So that's the same process that would happen on the open market. The beneficiary obviously has the option to either stay in that property and take on that responsibility of the equity loan and interest charges if they're applicable, or they can obviously choose to sell the property and redeem the loan that way. So like I say, very similar process to what would happen if the equity loan kind of wasn't in place and it was just the same situation that would happen on the open market. Just have a chat to, like I say, a legal representative. If there isn't a will in place, then again, the solicitor will deal with the estate and grant of probate. And then obviously the solicitors will then confirm who the beneficiaries are. And then again, same situation, the property can either be then transferred into that person's name if they're looking to live in the property and take on that responsibility of any interest payments. And like I say, they can choose to sell the property and redeem the loan that way. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to manage that, but we do recommend speaking to a solicitor just for some guidance on the options there.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paula. Lauren, going to come back to you next, and this is a question I think we see quite a bit. I've spent some money on my home since I moved in, and this is regarding home improvements. Is this considered when paying back the loan? Could you help us on this one, please?
Yeah, so I briefly kind of referred to it when I ran through the process of repaying your equity loan. But if you have home improvements that you have received consent from Swaithing/ABRI for, then these can be taken into account when it comes to determining the amount that you need to pay to repay your equity loan. General repairs and maintenance, things like that, would not be considered a home improvement. So just painting, decorating, keeping general upkeep of the property. But if you have done anything larger, such as replacing the kitchen or the bathroom, installing a conservatory or a driveway when there wasn't one there before, then these are things that can be considered a home improvement, so can be taken into account on the valuation if you have approval for them. If you were selling the property and wanted home improvements taken into account, then you would need to have a valuation carried out so that we can determine the value that those improvements have added to your property, so that it can be taken into account in the calculation that we give you for how much you need to repay your equity loan. If you haven't got approval for works that you have completed so far in your time in the property, then please just contact us and we can run through the process of potentially providing retrospective consent for those works, which is reviewed on a case-by-case basis, but we can run through that with you if that applies to you, if you just pop us a phone call or an email.
Brilliant. Thank you for going over that in detail. Really appreciate that one. Paula, going to come back to you. Got a couple of questions that I'm kind of going to bolt together, if that's okay. A few questions around what would happen if I couldn't pay off the loan at the end of the agreement or term of the equity loan. So I think this is to do with some of the timescales on some of the loans that were taken out. Can you just shed a bit of light on these ones for us, please?
Of course. So again, review your equity loan deeds, because the trigger points of repaying the loan would be confirmed within there. So, and some loans do differ. There is, I believe, My Choice Home Buy Loan has a trigger point at 25 years. So bear that in mind if your loan is kind of coming to the 25-year point. Just have a look at your equity loan, and like I say, speak to a solicitor if that is a trigger on there. But I believe it is just the My Choice Home Buy scheme that has that on there. The other ones, it's if you're coming to the end of your mortgage term, potentially as a trigger as well. Like I said, I can't speak for all equity loans. There are certain triggers on different ones. But if you come to the end of that point and you're not able to redeem that loan, have a chat to a financial advisor and legal representative. They can guide you further because they're the ones that would be best placed to kind of give you that advice. Like I said previously, most equity loans are redeemed either via selling or if someone's coming to remortgage, or if they've got savings or inheritance, something like that, that they're looking to do it as more of a cash kind of redemption. Those are usually the ways and methods of repaying that equity loan. But obviously it would be for a legal representative just to kind of give you a bit more guidance on if you're hitting a trigger point and you're not able to redeem, what your options are, so they can guide you a bit further on that for you. There isn't, unfortunately, a sort of payment plan to redeem it back. It is kind of in full if that is the trigger point of your equity loan deed. So again, like I say, reach out to a financial advisor if you don't know anyone to reach out to. Give our team a call. Like I said previously, the number is 0800 145 663, and our email address is postsales@abri.co.uk, and our team can kind of help you and kind of signpost you to other sources that might be able to kind of help you there.
Brilliant, thank you, Paula. Hopefully that answers a couple of those questions there. Lauren, I think this is a question that we do hear that does come up. If somebody's moving from their property to a new property, can they transfer their equity loan onto that new property? Can they take it with them? Would you be able to help us with this one?
Of course. Unfortunately, the equity loans can't be transferred or ported to another property. If you were looking to sell and purchase another property, you would need to repay the equity loan at the point of doing so.
Brilliant, thank you. And I'm going to come back to you, Paula. You've just touched on it there. Would you be able to just let everybody know what our opening hours are? I know you gave the contact details there, but would you just be able to let people know what our opening hours are and kind of days of the week, that kind of thing, please?
Yeah, of course. It's standard office hours, so Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And obviously we'll get back, if it's via email, we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Our service level agreement in regards to timescales for emails is 5 working days. However, just to reassure you, the team don't leave it that long. We do usually respond to emails much quicker than that, but that's just the service level agreement in place just in case of busy periods. And for the phone lines, again, they're open 9 till 5. And like I said, we've got the dedicated customer service team there that can help answer some specific questions, and if they're not able to, they can pass you through to one of our executives that can go into a bit more detail and assist you. Like Lauren said previously, would usually be there from start to finish with your transaction to kind of guide you through. So anytime that we're not around, the customer service team will ask us to give you a call back. That's the time convenient to you, and then we'll always try to accommodate that just to make sure you get the answers that you need as quickly as possible.
Brilliant, thank you. I think I may have to make this one the last question, Lauren, just conscious of time before wrapping up. So, Lauren, if somebody was about to retire from being a key worker, do they need to repay their loan, obviously around the key worker scheme? Would you be able to just help us on this one, please?
Absolutely. So yes, there are some loans that were granted to key workers. Within those equity loan deeds, it will mention that if you are about to retire or being made redundant or cease being a key worker, that will trigger repayment of your equity loan. That trigger no longer applies following key worker status as defined at the time being withdrawn. So that is no longer a trigger point of those key worker equity loans. The trigger points remain such as selling or just wishing to redeem the property. But again, just double check your equity loan deed, but that key worker retirement trigger no longer applies to those equity loan types.
Brilliant. Thank you, Lauren. I think we're getting through. We may be able to just squeeze one more in. Paul, I'm going to come back to you very briefly, okay? I think this may be the last one. So if the property is sold after someone passes and somebody would like to their share of the property to be divided in their will, I believe this may be a solicitor question, but would you just be able to kind of let us know how that would be possible? Would somebody be able to kind of pass that will through to various people?
Yeah, absolutely. Really good question. In regards to ABRI and how the equity loan works, once that's redeemed, any remaining kind of equity in the property, the solicitors, as you rightly said, will kind of manage how that's divided. So that's just determined what's already kind of preset within that person's will. If there isn't, like I say, a will in place, then going through the grant of probate process, the solicitors will then confirm to the family members how that will then be divided. So again, like I say, it will be based on any equity remaining in the property once it's sold after that loan's redeemed, and the solicitors will kind of keep you informed and kind of manage that side of things. But yeah, it's definitely worth, if there is a will in place, just speaking to a legal representative just to kind of see what your options are, and then that can kind of plan for the future for whatever that may be, and kind of get that kind of in place now in case you have any concerns.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think we are literally bang on time, which is great today. So I think we've now reached the end of the webinar. I'm going to say a big thank you to everyone that's logged on, joined in to the session, and also asked questions in the Q&A. Hopefully it's been a really good session for everyone involved. You've got some good information out of it. I want to say a big thank you to Paula and Lauren for their time today and answering as many questions as they could within the half an hour that we had. As I mentioned at the start, we'll be making a recording of this webinar available, so please keep checking our social channels, our website, and that should be available for you. As both Paula and Lauren have said, if you've got any further questions regarding equity loans, the redemption process, anything like that, just give us a call at the post sales team, pop us an email. Paula and Lauren have mentioned the contact details throughout, but I'm just going to say it one more time. So telephone number is 0800 145 663, and it's postsales@abri.co.uk. But thank you again for joining this afternoon. Going to wish you all a good afternoon, and say goodbye for now. Thank you.